you're watching Movie Guide. I'm your host, Evie Bear Carroll, and we're at the red carpet of The Journey. It's a Fathom event that shows Andrea Bocelli and other great artists playing in Tuscany, Italy. It's a beautiful event, so let's check it out. How do you want this ministry of the film to reach the audience?
Qual è il supporto, diciamo così, morale che vuoi che venga trasmesso con questo film?
For me, it's been a very spiritual experience, and I really hope that people watching this movie can find a new, deeper hope and faith.
Would you like to share?
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, I really believe that it's been an amazing journey for ourselves, and I really hope that we can share this emotion of riding this horse, which is a friend, along a journey that brought us from Rome to home.
Saw your performance and I cried through almost like the entire performance of everybody, though. It was incredible in Times Square. Have you played in the middle of Times Square before?
First time. Yeah, pretty cool.
How does that make you feel? Like, I'm just like, okay, the gospel's here in Times Square with all these people walking through. How does that make you feel?
Well, you feel like you're a bright light in a really dark place. And we know what happens when the light gets lit in a dark place. It shines really bright, you know. And you never know who's listening you have no idea. So just be in the moment and let the music speak for itself. And even a song, which is what I played today, sort of the journey, which is sort of weaves through, in and out of the movie and the episodes. There's not a word on the song, you know, but I'm really proud of it in a good way. I think it portrays sort of what you'll see in the movie.
And when you found out you had to be on a horse, what was the thought there?
Well, I mean, how do you say no to Andrea Bocelli and he wants you to ride a horse for 20 miles? I love the challenge, and I worked hard. I've been riding horses on and off my whole life, but not really for the past decade. So I trained. I live in Tennessee. There's a lot of horses in Tennessee, and so I got a great lady who really trained me well and just kind of got me prepared for it, and I think that really helped. I was still extremely sore. The next day, I'm thinking I felt like I was 105, just trying to get to the bathroom, you know. But I wouldn't have traded it for anything. It was an incredible journey, no pun intended.
I love it. I'm so excited to see it. I think the faith aspect is amazing, and you participating is incredible. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's not every day that you sing in front of Andrea Bocelli, so thankfully it wasn't the first time.
Yeah.
But definitely the first time singing in Times Square, which is so cool. So grateful for the opportunity.
Now, how meaningful was it for you to do this project, The Journey?
Incredible. A dream that I didn't know to dream. Yeah. Really, I was just so honored by the invitation to go over there. I got to take my wife with me, and we got on those horses, which was my first time on a horse, following Andrea, and had a wonderful time, had some great conversations. And I think anytime you can bring people hope through the medium of art, it's just an amazing thing. So I hope people are inspired and encouraged by it.
Now, what's your heart there that you've, chosen to do music that uplifts God, and you sing about kind of hope and inspiration. So what's your heart there?
I just want to sing about things that are true to me, that I really believe in, and anything outside of singing through the lens of my faith doesn't really make sense to me. But that doesn't exclude my life. When my new album, During the Morning, I have an amazing song called Has to Be God. It's about my love for my wife, and I've got songs about friendship, and I've got songs about the whole spectrum of life. And I think that's what we really need, is music with a conscience, and music that you walk away like, oh, I took something from this experience. So that's my hope.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, but this is an amazing experience to be here. Talk about your involvement.
Yes, so I was content director and one of the producers for the film. So I was with Andrea on the road 21 days, and it was a beautiful project to be a part of.
It wasn't a bad road to be on, right? Because you're in the middle of Italy.
Honestly, it was a dream project. It was so beautiful. Tuscany into Rome. I mean, every place we went was so beautiful.
Now, I want to know from your perspective, where did the horses come in? Like, whose idea was that we needed to ride the horses?
Well, Andrea is an avid horse rider. He's a horseman, and so it was his idea. He wanted to do the whole trail, 200 miles on horseback, and he did it. We did not skip one beat. It was all on horseback.
So for you, he's had an incredible career. How were you inspired by, what he's done and kind of your relationship you built with him over the time of doing this project?
Yes, I mean, there's several things. He's a man of excellence. Everything he does is an excellence, and I think just being around him, he has such his spirit is so beautiful. I mean, he just loves the people that are with him. And I think just being on the road with him, I saw so much about what is important, priorities, his family, loving those around him. So it was just a really fun experience to be with him. Yeah.
I noticed that you love performing. You kind of loved the audience kind of involvement. But how is it to be right there in Times Square?
Wow, to see so many people in the middle of Times Square is like... that's the moment. It's like a history, and I love to connect with the audience. The audience is like a part of what I do. They play the really important role because I'm playing music for them.
And doing this with Andrea, how was that experience? You've grown up doing this, and Andrea's also done an amazing career. So what kind of things that you were inspired by?
Well, I'm a huge fan of him. I love his voice. I love the songs he sings, and it's like a surreal experience to play with him in the middle of Times Square. It's like a special time stopped in the Times Square. Yeah.
And this movie is called The Journey and about faith. So what are things that you would kind of mark as your journey to being a musician?
Yeah, it's all about keeping the faith, believing in yourself, in the dreams, and follow your path. And I can't wait to see the movie.
So this was an incredible story and an incredible, what you guys did here. So talk about your involvement and what kind of you held on to when you heard about it.
Yes, well, I had the pleasure of jumping into the journey in post-production. So it was really great because in many ways I got to kind of sit in the seat of the audience and watch it all unfold for the first time on screen. And so figuring out how to pull those pieces together, it was like assembling a really beautiful jigsaw puzzle, really. Andrea and his wife and his family are all showcased in the film, and just seeing a family that shares that connection of faith, and then the music and kind of the sense of culture, seeing where they're from, and that it was just a beautiful way to kind of tell the story of his own sort of spiritual unwinding paired with this amazing music. So
I'm sure it was inspiring just to even be in the room, like, listening to these songs and everything.
Yes, one of my favorite parts of the post process was really bringing together the finale song. It's all the voices captured on the journey singing Amazing Grace. And so they each sang the song solo along the journey, and we were able to bring them together. And it's just such a powerful moment, hearing this iconic song that kind of has a place in everybody's heart, and then bringing these just variety of talent together. It was amazing.
So this is your project. I mean, this is amazing. What was the initial concept there?
Veronica Bocelli called me and said, Tom, the world's been shut down for 2 years. We've got to open the world back up. We've got to bring hope and faith back to the world. What are we going to do? Andrea's going nuts. And I said, well, what do you suggest? He said, he wants to do a horseback ride on a famous trail called the Via Francigena, which is a sacred highway where pilgrims come every year. The Apostle Paul walked it. Peter was on that as he made his entrance into Rome. So we wanted to go there and celebrate that and said, well, Veronica, I can do that, but if Andrea doesn't sing, people are going to be really mad. So we've got to not only ride a horse, but we've got to do some singing along the way.
So you're saying people don't want to just see him ride the horse,
nope,
right?
They don't. They don't. They want to hear him sing. That's the way.
And I do think it's an interesting combo, right? Riding a horse, but the beautiful countryside and everything that you guys depicted was incredible, and that plays into the inspiration that you're trying to talk about. And so, talk about the faith that's in this movie.
Andrea is a man of deep faith, and he's not afraid to talk about it. An A-lister, the number one tenor in the world, that's not afraid to say Jesus is Lord, doesn't get any better than that. So I kind of keyed up on that. About 5 years ago, I met Andrea when we did a special Christmas project. And once I met him and I learned how deep his faith was, we connected at a good level, and it was fun to go back and forth. So this is our 4th project we've done with Andrea in the last 5 years. So it's a great celebration. We celebrate him, the stand that he takes, and his last album was called Believe. So come on, doesn't get any better than that.